So I wanted to talk about scaling and training stages, because I have this all the time, and I have a hard time relating sometimes to getting frustrated that you can't do what's on the board. Because I scale all the time on different things, because I'm really good at things and really bad at some things, but I don't ever take it as a personal, I can't do this, they're doing it. So, but I get that all the time from people. So I'm trying to understand it better, more and more, but I scale a lot on different things. And if you can't do what's on the board, it doesn't matter. All I'm putting on the board, when we program, or when I program these workouts, you have to program for the elite. I want what's on the board to be something you have to work hard for, something that's not easily done, and there's no other way to really program the workout outside of programming for the elite, and that means of the gym, right? When I put out a workout, I want the guy and girl who are the top in the gym, means fittest-wise, when it comes to this kind of stuff, to have a hard time doing it. I don't want to aim for less than that. So that means that I know when I put these together, I understand that a vast majority of people are going to have to scale weight, intensity, rounds, volume, all sorts of things. That's fine. That's the nature of this process. So don't ever beat yourself up for not being able to do what's on the board. It's merely a suggestion. It's like, hey guys, here's what I really want you to work for. If you can't get it today, no worries. Hopefully in a couple of years we can, or maybe not. But it's just a suggestion for what I want you guys to try to do. So I program for the elite, and we scale as needed, whatever that looks like. If it's a 20-minute AMRAP, and you're like, hey man, I feel like 15 minutes is about where my wheelhouse is, then do 15 minutes, right? If you're not quite sure, you just know that you're not going to be that good at this, grab the coach. Hey, how should I scale this? I'm really bad at this movement. What do I need to do? Don't be afraid to scale. It's just what it is. Scaling is not a bad word. It's how you train till you're 80, right? It's how this stuff works till long term. If you don't scale, you try to do what everybody else is doing or do what's on the board, you'll tank quickly. So I want to start this conversation towards a long-term approach towards training. And a lot of frustration evolves around this one misunderstanding of training. So I want to talk about rate of progression and rate of adaptation. So this is just a little chart here. At the bottom you have time, at the top you have progression. When you start training with this kind of stuff, if you're used to Zumba or treadmills or jogging or whatever, and you come in here, now you're learning Olympic lifts, power lifts, you're learning different gymnastic skills, you're doing all sorts of different things, your rate of progression is significant, right? You start to see this huge spike. And when you go to set a new deadlift PR, you might deadlift PR by 30, 40, 50 pounds, right? That's not going to be where you are 3-4 years from now. After you've been training for several years, a 5-pound PR is a victory. A 2-pound PR is a victory, right? So as you see this huge rate of adaptation, over time, it starts to level off. Now, it's not a plateau. It will feel like a plateau, but it's not a plateau. It just means your rate of adaptation is much slower than when you first started, right? That novice trainee adapts very quickly, and most of that's neurological. When I take a brand new person who's never deadlifted before, and 5 months later they deadlift 100 pounds more than they started 3-4 months ago, it's not because their muscles are that much bigger. It's a neurological adaptation. They've learned to move better, and they've done it more. So that first part of that transition is purely neurological, not physiological, not muscles getting bigger and stronger as much as it is, oh, this is how I move better. How many times have you been working on your snatch or your clean and figured out, oh, that's the right technique, and you added 15 pounds. You didn't just get stronger, you just learned how to do it right, right? So don't get frustrated after, especially some of you that have been around here for a couple years. You're not, a 5-pound PR is something to be celebrated on your deadlift, right? Can you do a little bit better than you did the year prior every year? That's all I'm looking for, right? So don't get frustrated with that. You'll see some big gains early on. And if not, then you have to figure out what you need to tweak. And that's where the coaches come into play, all right? So ingrain that in your mind. Finally, I'll say this. We scale load and intensity, but we try not to change the movement. Greg Glassman had a great line years ago. He said, the needs of an Olympic athlete and the needs of my grandmother vary only by degree, not by kind. Meaning, grandma and the Olympic athlete both need to squat. The Olympic athlete may have 600 pounds on his back, and grandma may be doing it to a 24-inch box, but they're both squatting. The nature of these movements are such that we don't want to change them. We just want to change the load and the intensity. Preserve the stimulus. Preserve the stimulus. If I want you to squat that day in the workout, I want you to squat. Again, I don't care what it is. If some may have 225-pound overhead squat, you may be box squatting. I don't care. Just preserve that stimulus. All right? So as a couple examples, If we had 5 rounds, 15 overhead squats and 400 meter run, how could you scale that? 15 overhead squats at 135 and 95. Justin, I can't overhead squat for shit, or I'm not good at it. What do I do? You could scale down weight. I gave you a PVC pipe and practice technique, right? Or we could do overhead lunges. Or we could do front squat or back squat. Or, hey, I can't do any weight right now. I just want to do air squat. We do an air squat. Are we still preserving the stimulus of the overhead squat? Absolutely, right? Lunges do the same thing. And my foot hurts, I can't run, or whatever. What could we do for that instead? We could row, right? Easy. Jump on the rower and do 400 meters. Less intensity, less dynamic pressure on the foot, knee, ankle, hip, everything. You could row instead, right? 21-15-9, thrusters and pull-ups. Justin, I can't do a pull-up. What do we do? Ring row, right? A pull-up is pulling, a ring row is pulling, just less intense. It's the same movement, just less intense. I can't do a thruster at 95 pounds. What do? Drop the weight, right? Get a barbell, do a thruster. I can't even squat anymore. Okay, well, you're gonna do a thruster to the box. I have some clients that are in their 70s and post-knee surgery, and now they have a 6-pound med ball. They squat to a 24-inch box, they come up and press up the med ball as high as they can for 6 pounds, right? We're getting the same stimulus. I'm not gonna give her a barbell with 65 pounds and say, jump around the pull-up bars, right? That'd be irresponsible. So, scale as you need. Ask the coach in the class what you need to scale, and don't be afraid or upset about scaling. It's the nature of the beast. Everybody does it. Cool? Any questions on scaling?
Should you vary the intensity over time? Like there's some workouts that you go really hard on, and some, say like you've been going really intense for several weeks. Should you take a week and just be less intense during our week to recover and then go intense again?
I don't think that, I wouldn't go that way. I would just go for sustainability. I mean, try to find a steady path the entire time. If you feel like 1 week's programming was extra intense or left you a little more beat up, then maybe pull back a little bit. But I wouldn't intentionally be going, okay, I'm gonna go heavier on this workout and go lighter on the next workout. Do what's on the board and then scale as you need, depending on how you feel. Does that answer your question?